Hi everyone, Sean Woodland inside the CrossFit Update Studios, being joined via Skype by the most decorated Masters athlete in Games history. He is a three-time Masters champion. He has stood on the podium 4 times. He has won more Masters events than any other competitor, and he is making his 6th appearance at the CrossFit Games. He is Scott Olson. Scott, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Sean. Glad to be here.
You are going into the CrossFit Games as the top seed after a great finish in the Masters Online Qualifier. What has been going right for you so far this year?
You know, the training's been real consistent. Dealing with some nicks, some bumps and bruises here and there, been able to work around them. What I'm happy with is that, or feel fortunate that, you know, getting older each year, I keep waiting for the wheels to fall off, but each year I continue to set a few PRs here and there, deadlift, strict press. Explosiveness is an issue, but real happy that the body's hanging in there and I'm able to show up every day at the gym and do my thing.
The training that Games athletes at all levels that they put themselves through has really evolved and ramped up significantly over the past couple of years. How has your training changed since you first started competing?
It's gotten much more specific. Back when I first started doing this in 2010, showed up and did a wide every day and went out and had a beer afterwards. It's lots of fun. But since the Games in 2010 and then going back to 2011, each year the athletes get, well, we've seen this on all levels, get crazy good and strong and ripped. And each year it just gets tougher and tougher. You know, I always question how long I can really last doing this. You know, it sounds funny coming from a 60-year-old, but I'm getting youngins coming in now, and you've got to just stay on your game. It's kind of evolved, so it's, you know, pretty much my life at this point. I enjoy it. I'm a director of a gym, and it's really fine-tuning, really about working weaknesses and never dodging a wad.
What does a typical week of training look like for you?
Pretty much it's, you know, Monday through Sunday. I do take days off here and there, but I don't have a special day I take off. I take off when I feel like it. I like to make Sundays my active recovery. I'll go a 15 to 20 mile bike ride, road bike, but I'll ride fairly hard. I push my body as hard as I can push it until it tells me time for rest. The only way to gauge that is by comparing how I'm feeling with the people I'm working out with. And I work out with a lot of, you know, 25, 30, 35, 40-year-olds. And when we start warming up in the morning, we're grunting and groaning. As long as I'm not grunting and groaning more than them, I feel I'm doing okay. I don't need rest. But if I'm grunting and groaning more than them, maybe I need a rest day.
What do you think the biggest key is in training to be a Masters Games athlete?
You know, it's, you know, without a doubt, you just have to know your body. You have to take care of yourself. You have to eat right. You have to know, you have to sleep. You have to be able to get recovery. If you can't recover, you can't train, you can't get better. You get diminishing returns. So you just kind of have to know when to kind of reel it in. Even though I may not take a rest day, I'll take certain days that I just don't push as hard.
You missed out on the Games last year because of injury. You're back this year. What does it mean to you to be able to compete once again at the CrossFit Games?
You know, I'm excited. You know, you always kind of wonder when this is it. You know, when he came back to do the Open this year, and especially in the Open, I really didn't do very well. Everybody's gotten better. I think the very first workout, I came in like 13th, and I thought, maybe this is it. Scott Olson's no longer. But I'd been sick for about 2 months, and I slowly kind of recovered from that, and they stopped throwing so many burpees at us, and I was finally able to realize that, yeah, I can still compete. So, you know, going to the qualifier, I knew it would be a real test, because at that point they usually get a little bit more weight involved and sometimes a little more challenging wads, and it allowed me to do the things that I'm good at versus burpees. So I was real happy to see that I can make it to the top. I didn't really think I'd make it to the top this year. I thought I'd be in the top 5, but not the top 1.
You have been part of the Masters competition ever since it started in 2010. How has that competition changed since the first one you participated in?
Well, it's totally different now. I mean, 2010, we were literally a sideshow. We, you know, flew all the way out there, got ourselves in great shape, and we had basically 2 workouts. We had Fram was the last one. We had a deadlift, which we really can't count that. That's where I tore my bicep, and then it was Nancy, which is the one workout I didn't want to do because I couldn't overhead squat that. I couldn't Couldn't get my hip crease lower than my knees, but and I hated to run. But it was and that was it. It was a sideshow. It was fun. It was great to meet the people. But from then on, when we went and got our own space in that basketball area, whatever that was. But then the WODs finally started to get challenging and realistic. And then, the last year I competed, there were really great WODs. And then last year that I missed were great WODs. I mean, really, I think brought out the true champion. You had to be really rounded last year to make it to the podium.
What has been the best part for you being a Masters athlete?
It's just fun to compete again. We talked earlier about playing football and stuff. CrossFit caters to that competitive mentality. And here I am, 64 years old. And I get to act like a kid again, and get to go compete with my peers out there, and get on a stand and get a medal and get acknowledgement from you guys. And it's it's fun to do that. It makes you feel young. Heck, I don't, the only time I feel 64 is when I look in the mirror.
I'm sure you have your friends who are, around your same age who have nothing to do with CrossFit. What do they think about what you're doing?
Yeah, they think I'm nuts. Most of my real good friends from my childhood days, they look at me like, you're nuts. We can have beers together and go to happy hour, maybe go to the lake and fish a little bit. That's all we can do together. But they're my bros, and they understand me and they accept me. But literally most of the people I actually hang around are, 40s and 45s and 50s, they're okay with me. They accept me, and they do what I do. They're CrossFitters, of course, so they think I'm somewhat normal. But my real true friends from way back when, they think I'm nuts.
There are people out there in their 50s and 60s who may not be doing any sort of exercise program right now, and they might take a look at CrossFit and say, you know what, there is no way I'm even going to give that a try. What will your response to that be?
Yeah, huge mistake. Everything CrossFit's scalable. We all know that. I'm a director of Blading CrossFit now. Our demographics between 30 and 50. Recently, we signed on, a guy signed up and put him through my ramp-up program. We've had him do a lunge and a twist, and he literally fell over on the ground. 77 years old, former triathlete, marathoner, a great athlete when he was younger, but had balance issues. I thought, oh my God, I saw this. I thought, what am I going to do? And I'm sure he thought, what's he doing? What am I going to do with this guy? So we just rebooted everything and just changed everything that we did. He couldn't put any weights over his head. We thought, we'd hang on to things and kick his leg a little bit, do some squats, all supported movements. Now he does step-ups, he does push-ups, he does pull-ups. He can lift weight over his head, kettlebell swings, pretty much everything that we do. His doctor's taking him off all medications for balance. And his doctor told him, whatever you're doing, don't quit CrossFit. 78 years old now, and the best part of his day when he shows up to do CrossFit with me in the morning.
For you, when are you going to be done competing?
I'm always going to work out. I've never not worked out. I've chosen CrossFit now as my form of fitness, and I will tone things down after this year. I'm going to start doing a lot of the other things that I enjoy, more snow skiing, more snowboarding, more water skiing, and mountain bike riding, those kinds of things. I'll go to the Open next year, and if I qualify, I'll go again. If not, that's fine. But I'm sure I'll sign up, and but I'm not going to train at the same level that I train now.
Scott, we wish you the best of luck in Carson, California. We certainly look forward to seeing you out there, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Sean. My pleasure. Enjoyed this.
Scott Olson, the three-time Masters championship, going for championship number 4. And, of course, only one other man in the history of the CrossFit Games has ever won 4 championships, and I think we all know who that is.